Hello, this is Kyle, the Nostalgia File, and we're currently visiting some family for the weekend, and figured I'd bring this along and we'd light her up. Kind of built this over the winter. It's a little regen radio receiver. The power supply over here I built, it's a variable DC power supply. I built it because I didn't have a power transformer that would work for what I needed it to without using a lot of very big dropping resistors to get the plate voltage to where I needed it to be. And I knew I was going to be building other projects anyway, so I built this. It's an old case from a battery charger. I have a voltmeter here. It's not very accurate though. I have an ammeter over here. This one's pretty accurate. I have actually a little mini auto transformer. Right now it's set to about 90 volts. I know it'll go well over 400. The dual section filter capacitor can handle 450. I have two damper diodes running in grounded cathode. So your two grounded cathodes actually go to your B negative line. And the plates go to the two sides of your secondary and your power transformer, this one, and your center tap ends up actually being a B positive instead of your B negative, like you'd see with a 5Y3 or a 5U4 full wave rectifier. The reason I did this is if I would have used a 5Y3, I'd have to put a 5 volt center tap transformer on here. I didn't have one. This one is 6.3 and about 3 center tap. Nothing's on center tap right now though. And that is my heater supply. The damper diodes are not very efficient, but they do run in full wave. So here's a fuse buried in the back there. And we just have a terminal strip. We have bleeder resistors. So if I don't have a load on it, filter capacitor will discharge. And just a power switch. And I have a tuned loop antenna. I built the antenna actually a few years ago, but I added a little grid-fed amplifier to it there. I believe it's a 6C4, I believe, if I remember right. A little Triode tube. 7-pin miniature. And it's just an amplifier. Have taps here because my tuning capacitor doesn't have enough range to cover the entire AM broadcast band on just one inductance value, so we have multiple taps. And I can actually clip a big outside wire antenna onto this and use it as a big tuned active front end for the radio if I want to do it that way, but right now we're just using it as a loop antenna. And then we actually have the receiver itself. Plug-in coil mostly covers the broadcast band. It struggles to get into the bottom right now. I have to fix that. Wound on a ferrite bar from an old AM radio or broadcast band radio. Audio output transformer, a little just cheap speaker. Plate choke came from a TV. Have your main tuning capacitor underneath there. You can see it moving. Have an RF gain control. Your band spread or your fine tune. Regeneration control. And your band set or your course tune. This switch changes from 1 gang to 2 gangs on our throttle capacitor for our regeneration control. And this one goes for 1 gang and 2 gangs on our band set capacitor. For tubes, we have a 6 SN7 dual triode. One section being ran as a grounded grid untuned RF amplifier. The other sections being used as a grid leak
detector. We have a tickler coil wound on here also. We have a 4 AV6. And you're probably asking why 4 volt heater when everything else is 6 volts. Didn't have a 6 AV6, but I did not need a very big dropping resistor to get our filament voltage correct, and it didn't need to dissipate much heat. I think only about half a watt, if I remember right. Not even that. So we use that. 4 AV6, the same thing, different heater. This is a I guess you'd say a preamp, or I guess a more correct term would be a driver tube. And this is kind of the interesting or the odd part of the whole thing here. This is a number 76 triode tube. There is no tetrodes or pentodes in this whole thing. It's all triode. I was going to use a 7C5, which is basically a 6V6 that's with a Loctol base, which was the original tube that went to this transformer. I don't know if it was a bad tube or if I wasn't getting the bias quite right, but it was very weak output. Or maybe a very poor match to this tube. I'm not sure. I tried a 6V6 and I think my 6V6 was bad. I know I red plated it a couple times, so I think I killed it in the process of experimentation, and I don't know if it was that great of a tube to begin with. So I figured I'd clamp this one on there with some alligator clips, because I did have a nice brand new socket for it, and it works real good. I'm not sure how it works when I believe it's supposed to have at least 120 volts on the plate, and I've run it as low as 45 volts. And it actually does a pretty good job running this little speaker here. And then we just have some connections back here for B positive, speaker output. There's somewhere there's the antenna, not all that important. And just a few terminal strips here and there. A couple parts just kind of out in the open, kind of not the cleanest put together radio ever made, but it works. I think I need to do something here though. I think there's a ground problem on the throttle capacitor. Every now and then you kind of gotta flick it, and then all of a sudden it works. But let's turn it on. See what we can get for a station. Alright, it's got a little bit of hum I never did figure out yet. Okay, regeneration. Peek our loop. Nice bright glowing damper diodes. It's actually pretty impressive how well the radio works. Yes, I did. There's a flamethrower. There we go.
What is that? I mean, how do you explain that?
Well, the suicide and the desperation.
That's at about 45 volts. And actually I just killed it.
You may try to keep up appearances. You may not turn to your friends. You may not ask for help because you don't want to appear weak.
Anyways, that's it. Hope you enjoyed, found it a little useful. I might try to attach a schematic later on once I make one. 7-3 everybody. Take care. See you again.